Nigeria will not be better than what it is now?
There's no way Nigeria will be better. That's the truth. There's no way Nigeria will be better. That's the truth. Nigeria that does not base our budget or our distribution of allocation on development, but on empty landmass, on population, when others are in other countries, they are trying to manage their population. In Nigeria, you are encouraging people to have as much children as they have. San, Premiko, Songu, all of them are counted as human beings. Everybody is competing to make their population higher, so that Obiakpo is more populated than the whole of Rivers State. These are the manipulations the leadership of Nigeria has put in place. So how are you going to develop? You don't have any statistic. There is no statistics. People say Nigerian population is more than 200 million. It's a lie. Nigerian population is not more than 80 million.
You think so?
Nigerian population is not. Let's invite UN, United Nations agencies, together with them and carry out population census. Whether Nigerian population will be. I went to Egypt. If you see the number of people at the substation, the number of people that comes out of this thing in Egypt, in Cairo, in different places, and then they tell you that Nigeria is more populated than Egypt. Egypt is bigger than Nigeria in landmass. Egypt is bigger than Nigeria in everything. And they said Egypt population is 80-something million. Nigeria population is 200. How possible?
I think that there's a population politics that's going on for a long time.
Yes! Falsehood! That Kano is more populated than Rivers State. Where? Where are the people in Kano? Apart from Kano City. Outside Kano City, where are the people? Where did they go to?
Interesting. We'll take a short commercial break.
They asked Asari Dokubo if he think Nigeria is better now. He said that there is no way Nigeria can be better. That is the truth. They asked me again, Baba, did you think Nigeria is better now? He said, there is no way Nigeria can be better. Well, I will not talk too much on this. I will only allow you to watch the next video. But my question in this video is this. You watching this, do you think Nigeria can be better again? If you say yes, please do well to drop when you think Nigeria will be better. Drop it on the comment section. But if you say no, Nigeria cannot be better again, my question to you then is, what then do you think that can be done? Drop your comment in the comment section. We are going to discuss in the comment section, all right? But now, I will just allow you to listen to this analysis my brother gave. Then after that, you do well to drop your comment.
The point really is that Nigeria is a nation that is not working, and everybody can appreciate that it's not working. The point of takeoff is, if it's not working, what do you do? How do you really want a country?
Don't know. Asari Dokubo is one of the people who supported the candidacy of Tinubu becoming the president of Nigeria illegally through forgery, manipulation, and so on and so forth. And after the election, during the Supreme Court judgment, you saw how Asari Dokubo organized stores carrying illegal arms. And Asari Dokubo made a statement that is still trending up to today. He said, if Tinubu fails, hold me responsible. But you can't hold him responsible. It's just a propaganda because Tinubu has failed. Now, let me tell you people, because a lot of people don't understand how governance in Nigeria is. People are still saying that Tinubu is under 2 years, that we should still give him time. They forgot that Tinubu is having the last time in his presidency now. Immediately they enter next year. By the end of next year, primary election they will start preparing for next election. So governance is already over. That is a part. Now, you see, if those people who are close to politicians and politicians are telling you that Nigeria is not going to work again, believe them. They are not telling you stories. They mean what they are saying. If those people who are close to politicians are telling you Nigeria can't work again, they are saying it out of what they heard in their meeting, out of the business they transacted in their meeting. For Asari Dokubo to come out yesterday, this interview was made about 2 days ago. So for Asari Dokubo to come out to tell you that Nigeria is not going to work again, Nigeria can't get better, just believe him. Don't argue if you don't know Nigeria. I see so many people who are on the internet arguing about the progress of Nigeria. Let me tell you, Nigeria is made to fail. Nigeria is not made to succeed. If Nigeria is, disposed to succeed, Nigeria could have succeeded. Because the people of Nigeria are not lazy. The people of Nigeria are so good, they are so nice, but there is this system failure. And people don't want to realize this. So when Tinubu will leave Nigeria and go to medical trip in France, or in London, or in America, it's a signal to you that, come on, your healthcare is not fit to treat your president. So it is made for you. It's an indication that Nigeria is not working. Where a sitting governor will say that he built 6 schools, but take his children to private school or abroad, it's a sign to tell you that Nigeria won't get better. A Nigeria where population is not being controlled, debt is not being controlled, as in Nigeria don't just have anything in common. They don't have vision of next year. They don't have nothing, absolutely nothing. The North have their own way of life. The West have their own way of life. The East have their own way of life. And I'm putting it to you. We are supposed to be living in peace with the North, with the West, with the East, if we are in different countries. I enjoy going to Cotonou. I enjoy going to Ghana. I enjoy going to Cameroon. If you go to Gambia, you see Nigerians doing business. Exceptionally, they love them. The hate we have against each other, not me, I don't hate anybody. The hate so many people have against each other in this country are carried out by the politicians. They make you to hate, the opposite religion, the opposite tribe, your fellow Nigerian, they made you to hate them because of their selfish interests, because of their political interests. They don't want your eyes to be open. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question. Is Nigeria getting better? Absolutely no. What this Asari Dokubo said, he's absolutely right. Nigeria can't get better because there is no how Nigeria will get better. Tell me. Someone should tell me how now. How will Nigeria get better? If you are disagreeing with what Asari Dokubo said, how will Nigeria get better? How? Just tell me how. The population is increasing. The insecurity is increasing. You see the insecurity. Nobody can stop the insecurity unless they return Nigeria into regions where region will manage their own security, or Nigeria separate. Let everybody manage their own security. Because for them, as a Nigeria, you're supposed to have freedom to move all around. But these people carrying out these activities, they're not Nigerians. Your borders are porous. You don't have security. You don't have custom. You don't have military at the border. We don't have anything. You that is arguing that Nigeria is good, can you go and join military? Can you? You can't. So let us call a spade a spade. The time is now where everybody must speak the truth. It is only the truth that can set us free. Forget about all these pretense we are pretending. Pretending cannot set us free. Pretending will worsen everything. I love people who are speaking for, despite the atrocities they have committed in the past. I love people who speak the truth. Nigeria can't work again. It can't work. A lot of people, immediately you are a friend to a politician, your brother is a politician, or you yourself, you're a politician, you will hate people who are speaking the truth. You don't want to hear the truth at all. The only thing you want to hear is that Nigeria will get better because the money of the people is coming to your purse. And after embezzling them, maybe you can tie 1 kilometer of road, they will tie wrapper for you and begin to clap for you. Our mumu done too much. Unless Nigeria begin to emancipate themselves, they will not understand how deep they are in failure. Nigeria has failed. A citizen of Nigeria sitting on top of gold and oil is dying of malnutrition in the hospital. That should raise a concern to you. Nigerians who are dead, they are dead. The insecurity will sack their village. They will pay taxes to the bandits. And for them, they belong to a nation. There is nothing like nation you belong to. The primary duty of government is to protect lives and property. So if government is unable to protect the lives and property, it is gone. There is nothing like government in Nigeria. Nothing like government. The police will even tell you that they don't have fuel when you call them for distress call. I have the evidence. It has happened time with that number. So what is going on is this is not the time for you to start defending the government, start defending them, or start talking rubbish, start coming against people who are stating the fact. I am not a fan of Asari Dokubo, but I know people will come after Asari Dokubo for saying that Nigeria cannot get better again. So The question I'm asking you, if Nigeria is not going to get better, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if Nigeria will not get better? It is time for you to start speaking the truth. This thing is not hard to do. It doesn't need crisis or war. All it needs is constitutional amendment to give room for a referendum, let people return to regional government. Human life is more important than the name of a nation, Nigeria. Human lives are more important than the boundaries. So why should you be, killing to save artificial boundary that Britain made for you? Why should you allow people to be dying to keep one boundary that Britain made for you? I am not against anybody. It is just a common sense. We need to come together and reason now. We need to come together and reason, okay, what is federal government doing now? Nothing. Maybe because you live in Abuja, you don't know what is going on in Nigeria. If I see people talking trash about Nigeria, I pity them because they don't even know the meaning of citizenship. They don't know what it means to be a citizen. You are a citizen now. You are sick. You don't have money for hospital. You said you are a citizen. You are a slave. Let us call it the way you are. You are a slave. If you yourself, you say you are a citizen and you say you don't have money to train your student in school, when your student is supposed to go free education if you don't have job, you are a slave. The earlier you realize that you are a slave, that is the time your mentality will open, because any slave that does not rebel does not deserve pity. That is why I hardly pity Nigerians, because they are yet to wake up. Until Nigeria wake up, we are still playing and will continue to suffer in this way. For me, Nigerians are still enjoying. When they are done enjoying, when they are fed up, the people will rise.
Well, when people look at taking a discussion on Nigeria, everybody will look at it from their own perspective. And some people will say, let's go all the way back to when the British came. Even some people say, no, let's go beyond when the British came, and so on and so forth. But the point really is that Nigeria is a nation that is not working, and everybody can appreciate that it's not working. The point of takeoff is, if it's not working, what do you do? How do you really want a country? Do you want a federation? Do you want what we have today, which is a unitary government?
Unitary?
Yes, we have a unitary government that is
Even though it's a federation system, according to our laws,
that is covered by something called a federation, but we know that that is not true. Essentially, if you're a federation, that means that you're all contributing. But what we have is not a federation in which everybody is contributing. We have a federation in which a few people are contributing and the rest are a sharing federation where we just sit down there to share. And that's why you have talks about devolution of power, restructuring, and so on and so forth. And I can tell you this, to bring it very clear. Sometime in the, I think in the 7th Senate, either in the 7th or the 8th Senate, we had a debate on devolution of power in order to amend the Constitution. And while we were having that discussion, we also had a vote. And the vote for devolution of power failed. And it failed principally because some of our colleagues from certain sections of the country felt that they will lose if devolution of power goes on. And after that vote, I had a discussion with a former governor of one of the northern states. And I sat with him and I said to him, I really need to know why you're so much against devolution of power, because it will also affect you positively. And he told me, he said, every month I have asked governor, we used to come to Abuja to get allocation of funds from the federal purse. If that is removed, my state will collapse, because we cannot generate what will give us the funding to be able to run the state. And that gives you an idea of how the federation is run. I didn't blame him. What I blamed was the fact that we had, by either choice or happenstance, found ourselves in a situation in which nobody thinks outside the box. Nobody tries to say, how do I win myself from this? With apologies, he called it a feeding bottle structure.
Senator, is it a function of the system of government we are running, or it's just the way we are? Because, I mean, you would also recall, as many would, that in the First Republic, the different regions were economically vibrant, and they didn't have to depend on the center for anything.
Well, you know, sometimes you can do something you think is good, and you will end up taking it to a situation where it is no longer viable. At the point at which W0rķ needed to win the war and set things, that's when they created the 12-state structure. Subsequently, after the 12-state structure, because each of those states was still viable on its own, then every other military regime that came tried to appease maybe constituents, elements within the country and all that, and continue dividing and creating entities. And now we find that entities are just not viable. And so each entity now has to wait to go cap in hand every month to be able to have sustenance to service the bloated structures. It's not that it can't work. It is that when you get used, and that's why we use the simile of feeding bottle. When you get used to just living off something, then you are no longer motivated, let's just say, to work for yourself. And we can see this very clearly. Niger State in Nigeria is bigger than the whole of almost Western Europe, Niger State. Yet, just a small part of Western Europe called Netherlands supply milk to the whole world, and you're able to survive. But Niger State cannot on its own survive. It has to come here every month. So you ask yourself, with all this landmass, with every other thing that is with you, why are you not focusing on your strength?
You know, that the views of that former governor, it's important, because it's more like a window into the mindset. Because we also spoke to some top politicians, you know, off the camera, and they thought, the way the South or some part of the South have gone about this is part of the problem. Because they feel if you stay in the South and you have meetings in one or two states or two cities, and you don't approach the North, because in politics you know about lobbying, you don't approach them and explain some of this in such that they can see the reasons, automatically people will shut it down. Don't they have a point when they say that?
Yeah, they do. I was just giving you the reasons why you will find that efforts being made to change our way of life hits a brick wall. Another thing is this. It's also in the nature of people not to take the hard decisions. It's also in our nature to take the easy way out. And the easy way out is do nothing. Stay on what you have. Drum up support from your people. Because anytime you try to catch somebody, say, oh, his people will come out. So drum up support and all that. And then blame the other person for your inability to do the right thing. So if anybody says that you don't have a comparative advantage in this country at a particular zone, you will not be correct.
The different federating units, Editor, in Nigeria, the states in particular, there is hardly any state in Nigeria that cannot, on its own, potentially stand well. I mean, economically vibrant. Many people have postulated that. In fact, I saw a report by a consulting firm that identifies and itemizes the mineral resources, mineral deposits, and agricultural capacity of every state in Nigeria. Is it that, if this is true, is it that the state governors are incompetent, or they are not looking in the right way, or there is some federal government, power that is holding them down?
Well, I guess it's a combination of all manners of things. And I would say that in looking at it, you can't say, oh, these people are... I'm just saying this. Yeah. Taking the hard decision, it's always very difficult for people to do. So what they want to do is always to take the easy way out. What is the easy way out? Mm-hmm. You ask yourself, so we sell as much oil as possible, then we come out and then we share, and then we just go. That is the easy way out. The hard way is for you to look at your place and ask yourself, what do we do within this this area that we find ourselves? How do we... you just mentioned the time we had different regions. Now, at a particular point, the Eastern region was the fastest growing economy. And it was based on one simple thing, on palm oil. Now, at that time that it was growing fast and it was on palm oil, the Malaysians came and they took our palm kernels and fruits and went back to Malaysia, and they have turned it into being the leading exporter. And we now have to, anybody who is an importer, a manufacturer here that needs to use palm oil as its base for production has to import it from outside. So you ask yourself, from one regional government, I think the governments there now are about 11 or so, they should have been more efficient. But rather, I guess the breaking up of all that has made them more inefficient. And that is part of the bane of our economy today.
But Senator, if that's the view that they have, still on that perception that, well, if they don't get revenue from the center, the state will collapse. But there's also been several analyses and several reports that in years to come, oil will not be as viable as it is today. So why don't they see that?
Well, I think that's a question I can answer.
Because if political leaders
is a question that anybody who is a head of an entity called a state will have to answer. You have to ask yourself, you have a maximum of 8 years. How do you impact on it to change the narrative in your state? And I continue to say, maybe our leadership recruitment mechanism is faulty, and therefore we end up always recruiting leaders.
But they say politicians don't allow younger ones to come on board, because at the time too, the average age was really low, but now...
There is nothing that says younger people are better leaders, because we can take a census of the state governors we have today. The younger ones are the ones that everybody has an issue with.
No, but the country had younger leaders at the time. They were the ones who led the country.
That is the point. We really find this very, very interesting that our leaders at that time were very young. They were in their 30s. They were, very idealistic and all that. So what is it that has happened to our leaders of today? Must be
something.
All right. Before we go to
Just a minute. We have 4 minutes. Hold on. You'll be here. You have it here, but Kaide, go ahead and put your questions in.
All right, thank you, Chamberlain. Now, Senator Barbe, speaking of future leaders, now one of them on social media who is watching you made a comment much earlier, and he said that if a senator, I'll just paraphrase what he said, he says that if a senator in Nigeria says things are not exactly working as they ought to, then that is a big deal. Now, you have talked about, the syndrome of going cap in hand, to the federal government. You have said this is perhaps a unitary government that is cloaked in a federal, government ideal. So, I think the person is saying that you are in a position to make laws, to make things work. So I think the question for you, or from that person, is what are you doing to ensure that things work as a senator?
Yeah, my duty as a senator is that we make laws. We oversight the laws that are already made, and for where we make appropriation, we look into what they do. So when you're talking about the question of whether that is the question that comes to the heart of what I had said before, which has to do with devolution of power, and which some of our leaders all over the country today are saying that we must have a roundtable conference to talk about restructuring. And I will just give a very small illustration to show this. If there is an aspect of insecurity within your state as a governor, you will invite the commissioner of police, you will invite whatever military formation is within your state, you will invite the head of that, you invite the director officers. You can sit with them and you can say, okay, this is where I have this report and this is what you need to do, and then you must quickly go and arrest this situation. They will say yes. They will thank you, salute you, and walk away, and go and send a signal to their headquarters in Abuja. And so the police commissioner sends a signal to his headquarters in Abuja. Then he waits for the man in Abuja to tell him to approve or not approve what to do. Meanwhile, time is going. Sometimes they may, if it's a governor that somebody in Abuja doesn't like, they will say, don't mind him, let him go ahead with all the problems he's having, and nothing gets done. And so, you're in a federation in which a state governor is supposed to be the chief security officer without the ability to order the security agencies within his state to tackle menace. So what do you do? That is not a federation. That is nothing but a unitary system covered with a veneer of a federation.
Well, this is a conversation that will keep going on. We'll keep having it because we can't afford to not fix the country or get it right. Because your future, the young ones, even though Sandra says there's no
free lunch. No, I'm asking you. I've challenged the young ones to say, in what way are they better?
All right. Young persons who are succeeding in business.
No, I'm not saying that young people are not doing well. Please get me right. I said young people, they are doing marvelously well. We have young Nigerians, but the question of knowing what to do has nothing to do with age.
All right. Nigeria. Well, drop your comment in the comment section, all right? We'll discuss. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time coming across my video, all right? Thank you. I'll see you in my next video. God continue to bless you.